What's good, everybody? I'm back with another video telling you about my stories as a free phone and tablet community outreach advocate here in the city of Detroit, and my adventures and how it pretty much led me all the way out to Pontiac and just various different parts of the metro area in Detroit. And man, so I'm bringing everything to a head. Just like the thumbnail says, man, they started scamming. They started getting down on people, man. It was pretty wild. And so, just to give you a slight little backstory, me and this Asian dude, he plugged me in with this first office. So it's three offices in this story. First office was on the west side of Detroit, and this office was a lot of discourse there, and it turnover was high, a lot of sketchy people. You had some pretty solid people, you had some pretty decent people, but it was just some people that was there that was just, man, I don't even know how they even got the job. And shout out to my guy who gave me the chance. I went to high school with him, but there's a lot that was going on there with him. And, I appreciate the opportunity, but it was a lot of gatekeeping there too. And shout out to the owner. The owner actually chopped it up with me before I left, trying to motivate me to stay at the office. But, it was just too much discourse, a lot of gatekeeping. And what I mean by gatekeeping, because in that business rather, if you get to a certain level and you build a team, you can get residual income off of your people. And it just seemed like it just wasn't capable at that office. And then I trained under one of the top guys. And I'm not going to say that I was like one of the absolute best. It took me a while. It took me like a year, almost a year, to like really kind of see the vision on what my guy, what the Asian dude was talking about. And so we left that office and we went to another office across the way, and it was in Southfield. And now I don't want to go too in depth, to the second office, man. It was a little more polished. Now, my friend's son told me about this opportunity, and we landed at the second office. The second office, man, was way more inviting. It was more professional. It was more put together. For all the agents out there that was signing people up, you had a board where if you dropped about 100, 110, or however many that you were supposed to, your quota is 60 a week. If you drop 60 per week, you kind of, everything's really fast track. You could become what's called a manager, or like a manager. And your manager, by you being a manager, you was able to like build a team, and then you can probably might get what's called overrides. And overrides is like that residual income. That's the money that you got from each of your teammates, as long as they was out there producing. Now, we had a few guys over at the second office in Southfield that was like killing it. We had one dude that was making like $10,000 a week. I'm gonna call my man Big Dog. Big Dog was like, he had the Cartier glasses. He had Gucci shoes on. He wore like really nice attire to the office, man. Even the head manager, the guy that owned the whole spot, he was rolly up. He was cardied out. He had a two-tone something sitting out there, big truck outside, So they was making money, and you can see it. So once me and the Asian dude had got to the second office, I think that's where stuff kind of really started looking up. After leaving the other office, man, it just looked like, man, night and day difference. We had what's called a horseshoe, and you get people motivated to get out there and just like talk to people and sign people up for these phones. So, long story short, it's not gonna be necessarily short, but the Asian dude kind of it was. So he had two things going on. To put things in perspective, he was doing the phones, and he was doing. I don't know if you guys ever ran across anybody out on the street trying to sign you up for health insurance and phones. And here in Michigan, you could do it, but like in other states, you couldn't do it because it was like a conflict. So now, when I initially got tied in with the Asian dude, I mean, we went out to Pontiac. Surprisingly enough, on Dix Road, we went to a swap meet, and the swap meet, it was like the last place that somebody's gonna give up their personal information, and you know, it just didn't fit the situation in which we was trying to do and trying to help the community. So dial back, the Asian dude, he was really trying to get me together and trying to transform me into like a sign-up machine. So he actually had got a truck. We was driving around the city of Detroit with this big old banner, pulling up on people and just pretty much just dropping. Like, we dropped 30 that day. I myself dropped 30 with the help of him, and just signing people up on his phone and tablet or whatever. And so the biggest thing about this job is recruiting. So getting quality people that can get out there and actually sign people up. Now, sometimes it's hard to do that because sometimes, you know, and I hate to say, like, we as black people, we look, sometimes we could turn something that's, just turn a job that just like, okay, it's pretty much like a honor, it's an honor system, and we just take advantage of it and then just fraud it out. And so in the midst of all this, the Asian dude became a manager. I initially could have had about 8 people underneath me, but I just didn't see the vision. I was working my regular 9 to 5, and I just couldn't see the vision. And so pretty much, he had his girl. His girl, she was Asian descent too. She was, you know, pretty cool. So what I thought, he put those people underneath her. Now knowing what I knew now, I would have took them 8 people, because I would have been making like money so passive, you know, it just would have been crazy. But, you know, everything happened for a reason. So the Asian crew and myself, I'm just gonna call my guy, the Asian dude. I called him another name in another video. I'm gonna call him Gabe, and I'm gonna call his girl Melissa. So Gabe was dropping, like, they was tearing it up. You know, he had a method to his madness. He looked at propaganda. He know how to make these big banners that you can see from a mile away. And then he just had something. I just believed in him. That's why I stuck with him. You know, sometimes you don't want to change the horse in the middle of the race. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy, who initially told me about the opportunity, was like telling me, like, pulling my coattail, like, bro, like, you need to come over here. Like, we making money. Now, keep in mind, my guy, Gabe, he pretty much gave us a cheat code. So, when I was talking about gatekeeping, and remember I was talking about the overrides earlier, overrides essentially is like, you know, the money that you have to sacrifice a portion of your pay and give those overrides to your crew. And, you know, I think a lot of people didn't necessarily want to do that. And I think that's how Big Dog was kind of trying to be, was sustainable and was making the type of money. Now keep in mind, this guy, Big Dog, was telling me he's making like 10 grand a week. You know what I'm saying? But my guy Gabe told me, man, that those overrides kind of came out of his paycheck. You know, so, you know, out of his allotted funds for the whole team. So, mind you, along this journey, like, Gabe was messing up, was really bad, man. You had what's called credentials. Credentials you couldn't necessarily, you had to protect them. You know, it's almost like your social security number, you know, your credentials. If somebody can log into a device and just do some crazy stuff, like say for instance, if you signing somebody up, you didn't activate the phone, or somebody's inputting the same email a whole bunch of times, same one, you know, because in this whole thing, it was a marketing company, so you had to get reached out by email or whatever. So he had got a couple strikes for that, a couple strikes for this, and we're gonna show you how this kind of played later on in this story. So Gabe had got a couple strikes. He had got his credentials suspended. He had to take a test and get your credentials back, and you know he was good. So you know you can't really mess around with compliance with doing like phones and tablets. So everything is good. You know, I'm getting a few sales, but not the greatest. I'm kind of finding my own, finding out things on my own, seeing what works. I'm trying various different spots around the city of Detroit. I'm on the east. I'm doing downtown at the bus station, which was wild as hell. There's other companies out there, you know, ACP, which was the affordable connectivity plan or act, where people had like $10 internet or free internet, or you can apply $30 to your phone bill and save, get a little bit off. You know, it's like subsidized like service or whatever. That was looming to get cut off. So, man, it was just a time. So during this time, before all that was supposed to happen, like in February, I can't remember, but this is like maybe 2 years ago. It was just a lot going on. So my boy Gabe and his girl Melissa had took a trip down to Texas. They was doing like phones and tablets and insurance down in Texas, and it just kind of hit different down there. So he was like on a world tour with this lady that was really big with health insurance down there, and that was supposed to be like the pivot at some point in time. So I'm gone. So my guy Gabe and Melissa's down in Texas, gone for 2 months. You know, I'm willy-nilly out in the streets. I don't really know what's going on. I'm trying my best, but then I found my rhythm over here on the east side, on first on Kelly and I want to say Kelly and Moraine. I was tearing it up over there. I was getting some pretty solid sign-ups, you know, getting paid every week. And then I made my way over to Harper and Casual. That's when I found my first few recruits. And you know, in this game, you may run across some people like at face value, they may look like they okay, but underneath the surface, they just doing all type of crazy stuff. And then that's when like the scamming started happening, man. Dude was like just doing too much, man, and he wasn't actually out there like signing the people up. You know, he was he had a guy going down to Ohio, using his credentials, and everything is geolocation and whatever, and he was getting hit on compliance so bad. You know, I'm up here asking dude what was going on. But long story short, man, my guy had lost inventory. He had he had his dad with him, and he lost inventory too. It was just crazy. And this is like and things kind of come to a head later on. And so by this time I started growing my team. Like Melissa and Gabe had came back, and they was kind of really it was a lot, man. And when I really sit back and think about this story, it was a lot going on. And I didn't really want to like you know, I'm thinking like, man, like dude got my best interest in mind, but to an extent he did, but then again he didn't. And then things just started becoming reckless. And you know, that's when a lot of stuff started falling apart. So by this time, I'm full swing. I got a pretty solid team. I'm producing my crew pretty much dropping like maybe like 100 or so a week. I'm loosely getting like $400 for like just having these team members. And one thing I can say, and regardless if anybody do see this video that's doing phones and tablets, my guy Gabe, he gave us the cheat code. He definitely gave us those overrides out the gate, and that's what kind of enticed a lot of people on our team to like join. I mean, it could have been something beautiful, but it was just so much people, like it was too many people just doing like the wrong things, and so at this time things are going into the summertime. My guys, they was doing pretty good, and then the top guy from the other office came over to our team, and at this point ACP was cut off, man, and I think a lot of the vendors wasn't having it no more, man. They wanted subscribers, they wanted retention, meaning that they wanted people that's signing up for phones to be on the service for a long time, where they can recoup the money off of it. This is where the U.S. government can recoup the money off of them, and it just wasn't happening. And then I want to say it was March, April. I want to say it was May. It was May, and the second office had a March Madness contest, and it was $4,400 on the line. And keep in mind, now that our guy from the other office, who was the top dog, now I'm thinking like this dude just was just killing it. So we had a March Madness. It was tough, and it was in May, and we had all these people, getting in you know how it's brackets for March Madness and whatever. So long story short, man, people start running it up. It almost became a scamathon. And what I mean by scamming, in this phone and tablet game, there's people that they may, you may be out and doing your job, and somebody may present you with a list and be like, yo man, like I got this list of names, or getting information off of dark web. It was people that was at the and I don't want to throw too much stuff out there because I don't want people getting I mean, it is what it is. But it was people at the welfare office that was somehow or another getting hold of lists and all type of crazy stuff, man, that you can probably think of. This information is power, and if it's poor people, you could sign people up for these phones and just be printing money. And that's pretty much what happened, man. And then people, they do got like these lists on the dark web with everybody's information on there, and you could be at home in your underwear just punching. That's why I had that boxer on that thumbnail, because you just literally punching the information, activating the phone, keeping it, selling it, or whatever. And it was crazy. And it was to the point where it brought down that whole office. It brought down my team, because my guy, he had did something crazy somewhere else, and in conjunction with everybody who else, the guy from the previous office, man, he kind of got caught up too. And lo and behold, man, one day we were supposed to get paid, we didn't get paid. Man, shout out to my guy who owned that office, man. He went to the inside his personal cash app and paid our whole team off. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Thank you. For real. That was man, I mean, you was a real one for that one, man. And I appreciate that. And I wish I could have grown better at that office, man, and I wish things could have been like way better. But sometimes you live and you learn. You realize that some people, they may seem like they may have your best interests in mind, but you got to kind of peep red flags and make sure that you don't get caught up in the mess, or like caught up in people's just fuck around and find outs. You know what I'm saying? And I know my man's Gabe, I know he felt really bad about all what happened, and how everything went. And even with my guys, that was messing up so bad too, because they started scamming too. They started punching them too. And things just fell apart. And just looking back on it, man, and for like all those people that own offices and whatever, like those DSPs or whatever. And even when I went to the third office, man, like it was crazy because like some guys from my crew followed me over to the third office, and you know, they was back scamming again. And it was crazy. And I'm on the outside looking in. We in this Telegram chat, and I'm seeing them, man. Like, damn, like I just can't believe this dude, like, you know, went over to the other office and started scamming too. And this video is not to like necessarily, like, it is kind of scary, you know. And it's been times where people done gave all the information and then kind of felt some type of way if they didn't qualify for a device. And I'm like, man, that's just pretty much like the how everything works, you know. And most times I'm pretty transparent, because if I'm got to be out there all the time, I don't want nobody jumping on me or trying to steal something from me or shoot at me because they felt like I took their information and then give them a device. So, you know, I was pretty transparent, and I made a lot of good connections, you know, even to this day, where people still call me for the free phones and tablets. But obviously, man, after that whole thing collapsed, man, it was just no more. I lost my whole team, and we tried to pivot, and I went to another office, and, you know, just for the simple fact that Michigan had a high turnover rate with customers on the free phones. And yes, there is essentially customers with free phones. They took the phones from Michigan, and you know, essentially it was hitting people with a lot of those people with those tents and tables was hitting people with SIM cards, and I saw it before then. You know, I seen people like give like people SIM cards and like, man, I need a phone, and it's like, no, it just wasn't happening. And just looking back on it, man, I just wished I could have did things better. I mean, I know my wife, she told me, man, she was like, you know, this, man, you know, it seemed like it wasn't, you know, it seemed like it's a shady job, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't shady if you had the right people to do the job right. But if you had the wrong people, man, you lose your ass, man. It was bad. So, hey, if you made it this far and you found some value or just kind of learned about this free phone and free tablet thing, and you kind of was wondering about that job, well, here it is. I know it's kind of a little over the place, all over the place a little bit. I wish I could really go into depth, but you know, I'm just thinking about it like, man, it was just a lot that was going on in that job, man. But if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all taking your time checking out this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.